Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be continuing watching the How to Trolldier series. Today's video is called the Simple but Useful Hightower Jumps. I'm sure this is going to be awesome, man. Soundsmith is one of my favorite TF2 creators. Just does a really great job of it mixing in humor and useful tips for new players. It's just really awesome, man. So thank you so much to everybody that has been supporting the channel here, liking, comment, all that great stuff. You guys are awesome, man. And with that being said, if you're new, do not forget to hit that sub button, please, and thank you. And let's go ahead and jump into it.
Hey, quick announcement before the video starts. I wanted to bring attention to Heels for Reels. It's a charity event that's going down this weekend. The people behind it are raising money for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. There's going to be both lighthearted and competitive TF2 content, and it's for a good cause. The event starts tomorrow, December 9th at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, so make sure to go check that out. I'll put a link for the stream in the description. And if you're watching this video a while after it came out, then who knows? Maybe it'll be an annual thing, and you can still go check it out. Okay, let's start the actual
I was about to say, I'm pretty sure, you know, this was from a while ago, so, you know, I don't think that's the thing anymore, but I am watching this quite a while after this came out.
A lot of the rocket jumps that people showcase on YouTube are flashy, long-winded, and, well, they're really friggin' cool. And while that's great for montages and all, it's ignoring a huge part of trolldiering. The less flashy, more consistent fundamentals that'll get you the most gardens in the long run. These days, when I see a Trolldier on Hightower, they're trying to replicate these jumps that they see, and they're failing miserably because they don't know how to do the easier stuff. It's like a Smash Bros. Fan watching Westballs do 82 multi-shines in a row and then trying to do that before they learn how to short hop. It's just not gonna work.
I love Smash Bros. Let me know what your favorite one is down below if you also like Smash Bros. Mine will forever be Melee on the GameCube. It just has a special place in my heart.
I guess in many ways I'm part of the problem here. So in this video, I'm gonna do my best to fix that. I'm gonna go over the easier jumps that are admittedly way less cool than sliding up the hill and then getting to the bottom of the stairs and then doing a ramp slide to the top of the tower and then speed shotting off the top of the tower and then doing a sink at the bottom of the house and then going all the way around the back and then landing on the other side and then taunting after you get the idea. These jumps are going to be the fundamentals for Hightower. They're pretty easy to get down with practice, and if you know them like the back of your hand and can do them 99 times out of 100, you'll be getting way more successful gardens. Really, the hardest thing about these jumps is just knowing that they exist, and that's what this video is for. I've got some rules that are going to limit which jumps can be in the video. Firstly, they should include no more than 2 rockets. These jumps are simple. They shouldn't take up more than half your clip and also half your health if you're using anything other than the rocket jumper. Secondly, I'm not gonna...
And as you guys know, I'm not great with rocket jumping yet. Like, I'm kind of rocket jumping a little bit, but I'm still practicing and trying to get there because I'm just bad at it. So this is going to be great. Just simple ones, I'm fine with that.
So no ramp slides, no speed shots, no sinks, nothing like that. There are going to be some wall jumps and pogos, but those are pretty easy to get down. And thirdly, these jumps have to be useful and involve attacking, escaping, or positioning.
Okay, part 1, health packs here. Okay, cool, very cool.
Packs. This section is going to have the most jumps by far because health packs are, to put it mildly, really important. They're useful to you, to your opponents, to everyone, really. You're low on health and someone's chasing you, get your ass to a health pack. You're chasing somebody that's low on health, they're probably getting their ass to a health pack. Knowing how to get to these health packs from anywhere on the map is incredibly useful knowledge to have, and seeing as how Hightower is basically one big health pack, there's a lot of jumps to go over.
Nice,
Okay, first we're gonna start with these lower packs at the bottom of Tryhard Hill. People really like these packs since they're close to spawn and they have a full ammo kit right next to them. Suffice to say, you're gonna see a lot of people in this area. The first jump is just a short jump from Tryhard Hill. It's really simple. Just shoot a rocket behind you and strafe to the right towards the pack. Or if you're on blue side, strafe to the left.
Yeah, looks simple.
This is useful to grab people who are going up the stairs towards the health pack itself, or if you strafe a little tighter, get people coming out of spawn. One thing to keep in mind with this is that your rocket placement is going to be a little bit different than a normal rocket jump. Remember, you're standing on an incline, so make sure to adjust your aim accordingly. You can also do this same jump from a little bit further back if you're coming from the top side. The only difference is that you're going to jump off the wall, or the crates if you're on red side, and aim your rocket a little higher so that you move more horizontally. Remember, you don't want to clip that top lip right there because that'll stop you dead in your tracks. If you're coming from the shed with the large health pack, you can jump off of the wall here. This one is more useful as an escape tool if you're jumping from health pack to health pack, trying to stay alive from that one scout who chases you relentlessly after you market gardened him once. Your rocket placement on this one should be relatively low, but not low enough so that you go really high and take fall damage. Remember to strafe to the left after jumping because you don't want to run into the wall or go off the cliff or anything like that. Other than that, this one's pretty simple. This next one is the first of the jumps that requires 2 rockets. You're gonna wall jump off of the logo on the wall here and then strafe over the wall that sticks out at the bottom of the hill. This one is really useful since people don't usually look up in this game.
Nice.
It's also
Okay, I see.
technically doable on blue side, but it's much more difficult. This is because A, a lot of people have trouble with left-facing wall jumps, but B, this part of the wall sticks out, so there's a lot more strafing involved.
Yeah, I see
treads will
that.
definitely help with this. This one is a favorite among Trolldiers because it can link into a sink if you want, and it can also take you pretty much anywhere on the map, including this health pack. It's basically the same thing as the previous jump, but taken to an extreme. It takes advantage of that upward blind spot that many players have. One thing to keep in mind is that this pipe right here doesn't actually have a collision hitbox, so you just phase right through, so don't worry about trying to avoid that. This can be done on red side as well, but if you have trouble with left-facing wall jumps, then you can jump from blue side and still make it to red's lower health pack without that much of a problem.
Okay.
All right, next, let's talk about this small health pack. It's not used as much by people unless they're really low on health and they're in a pinch. That said, there are still a couple of jumps that are good to know. This first jump is extremely useful for getaways or to chase someone trying to get back into their spawn. Your goal for this one is to get as close as possible to the crates without hitting them. Shoot your rocket off the wall and immediately strafe towards their spawn, and correct as needed to land near the health pack. This can be done on both sides, so make sure to practice both. This is the same basic concept as the previous one, except this time you're starting lower, so you want your jump to be more vertical. The only tricky part about this is getting the strafing right, so if you have that down, you should be fine. Next is this large health pack in the bottom shed. People use it all the time because A, it's in a building, which makes it great to camp out Trolldiers, and B, it restores all of your health in one go. Since the building has a low ceiling and it's hard to do jumps other than like really short hops in there, your best bet is to catch people as they're coming out of the shed, or if you need to escape, just try to land right in the doorway. This jump is the same basic concept as the first jump. Place your rocket relatively high up and strafe to keep yourself on the right path to land on these planks right here. Actually, I'd really recommend learning to go back and forth between these health packs as quickly and consistently as possible. I guarantee an opportunity to do this jump will show up in basically any given match. Do be careful of this roof though. It sticks slightly further out than the planks on the floor and it will probably kill you if you clip it. Now, if you're really ballsy, you can save some time by going through the window, but that's risky as hell and it only saves about half a second.
I was like,
so
man.
Really recommend.
I don't think I'll be able to do that, but I would love to in the future. That's
this
precision
is the same
right
jump
there.
as the one to the lower medium pack, except this time you're going straight instead of strafing over the wall. Oh, and while I generally leave these guys alone, it's also useful to snag other Trolldiers who are trying to do the stair slide jump. It is kind of addictive, since usually the people doing that are trying to practice the jump and want to be left alone. Keep in mind that this jump is much more difficult on blue side, so what I like to do is I like to jump off of this cactus instead and follow it up with a late pogo off the pile of rocks. These next two packs are often used together as a single large health pack, so knowing how to effectively travel between them is very important. This one's pretty simple, it's just a tiny little jump. The only thing to keep in mind is that there should be a delay between when you crouch and jump and when you fire. Normally you do that all at once, but this time we want our jump to be slightly smaller, so there's going to be a delay there. Now, most people who know how to rocket jump can get to the top health pack without a problem, but a great jump to learn is one where you don't hit the ceiling. This is very useful to snag somebody who knows you're gonna jump back up after them because they'll try to keep their distance, and if you don't hit the ceiling, you'll be able to go a little bit further. You can start this next jump from pretty much anywhere. I mean, the only thing that you need to learn is the muscle memory for strafing away from the pack and then back in as you get lower. This allows you to avoid hitting the top platform, and it also gives you a little bit more horizontal velocity to catch some people who are going to the pack. Alright, these next medium packs near spawn, I wouldn't really recommend using them to escape because somebody following you into the room is basically a death sentence.
I was about to say, it doesn't look like there's much room to escape, you know, from this area.
People come here a lot, so there are still some jumps that you should learn. This is something that I'd really recommend you become consistent with. It's especially useful to grab a quick kill as the round starts because every free-to-play scout is going to be on the cart. But there are also usually heavies there, so, you know, be careful. Just jump off the outer lip or the wall, depending on which side you're on, and strafe towards the upper walkway. Pogo once, and then strafe back towards the pack. This jump is my personal favorite for getting man-treads kills. It's another really simple one. Just make sure to delay your rocket like you did for number 9. This jump is useful for when everyone is calming down after the first fight of a round. The winning team is on the cart, and one person probably grabbed the health from inside that room and is coming back to the cart, which means they're in the perfect spot for you to get them. It's much easier to do on blue side, but it is still doable on red, so make sure to practice it. This last health pack I like to call the Campground, because
Campground,
every
okay.
single tryhard soldier, demo, and heavy ever always camp it. The only real
Yeah.
way you can get close to them is by
I was about to say, this is a pretty popular spot right here, man.
either coming through this narrow hallway or jumping up to them, which makes you airshot bait. So your best option for dealing with these guys is knowing a bunch of jumps to get to them. The more options you have, the more likely you are to be able to come from an unexpected place and catch them off guard. You can actually do this first jump one of 3 ways, which makes it incredibly useful for mix-ups. The first 2 are relatively easy. It's just a simple jump followed by a strafe towards the health pack. The third one, though, is really fun, but also slightly more difficult. You jump off the wall instead of the ground and you go straight up the middle. This is super useful against soldiers who only know how to shoot at their feet, because you just fly right over the rocket and smack them. It's great. This is another one that's useful for mix-ups, but it's also kind of risky, because if the soldier or demo or heavy or whoever knows where you're coming from, you're as good as dead. Just do a normal rocket jump and strafe 180 degrees behind you. And if you want, you can change up your velocity a little bit by adding another rocket off this wall here. Believe it or not, it is possible to reach the top of the high tower from back here, though you might not make it all the way to the health pack. Realistically, this is an extremely risky jump to take, and it will usually result in you getting airshot if the other guy sees you coming. So I'd really only recommend doing this one if either the person you're trying to garden is already distracted by someone else, or you need to make an escape after you jumped into their spawn.
Okay.
This one is a bit more useful than the previous jump since you get there much faster and you're harder to hit. Just place your rocket on this corner right here and then strafe outwards towards the pack. Simple stuff. Not very many people will expect you to come from here, so this is a nice jump to catch someone by surprise with. Successfully jumping this high is all about vertical velocity, so make sure to place your rockets accordingly. Oh, and do watch out for this roof. It can and will stop you dead in your tracks.
Okay. Spawn and snipers.
Alright, so if somebody isn't playing around a health pack, then they're probably either near their spawn or they're in a sniper spot. Luckily for us, those spots are really similar on Hightower. So let's talk about them. The Battlements. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, most of the super flashy jumps that you'd see in a montage will end on the Battlements.
Yeah.
Or they potentially could with some strafing. There are also some easier ways to get there, though. They just look a little less cool. This is an incredibly easy jump that really just boils down to getting the muscle memory right. Just a single rocket off the wall and you're already there. If you have trouble with left-facing wall jumps, you can try doing this instead, but bear in mind that it'll take a little longer to set up, so it's more risky. This is another really simple one. The tricky part is getting the height right so that you can strafe a little further into the room in case the sniper backs up. I'd really recommend practicing this one until you can consistently land on any corner of the platform, as well as get a decent distance into the room. This is a very similar jump from the one that gets to the campground from the middle of the high tower. It's super useful if a sniper is panicking and trying to get back to their spawn after you jumped at them. The ceiling is surprisingly high here, so you've actually got a lot of breathing room. Just place a rocket pretty low on the wall here and strafe outwards into the room. Nobody ever expects this one, which is why I use it all the time. But I guess now that I've said this, everyone will expect it. Shit. Next, well, you remember that single jump from the Battlements to get to the campground? Number 18? Yeah, well, if you pogo off the tower and then strafe back in, you can actually make it to the other team's battlements without a problem. This is a great one to start off a round with because snipers don't usually get this far and charge up a shot by the time you make the jump. The final hills for the cart, along with the exit to the back hallway, stick out just a little bit, making them prime candidates to wall jump to whichever battlement you choose. I like to use this one to get a little bit of extra height to take advantage of that vertical blind spot that people always seem to have. This is another favorite jump among Trollders. It can take you to the battlements extremely quickly. So quickly, in fact, that once you're in the air, it will be very hard for snipers to escape in time. There's nothing particularly special about this jump on red side, but on blue side, it will involve a left-facing wall jump. Or alternatively, you could do a 360, and I've actually found that it's easier than a standard wall jump. And it looks cooler.
That looked pretty cool, yeah.
This is essentially a shortened version of the super fancy ramp slide version that you see all the time in montages.
Man, I'm really enjoying this video so far because, like I said, I'm not great at rocket jumping in. I'm trying to. I just seem to die a lot jumping around, and yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I usually just die from fall damage if I'm being real. But yeah, this is just like really, really short. simple things that I could really see myself doing as someone that hasn't really rocket jumped around that much. So this is awesome,
do that
man.
one jump from before, number 15, but put another rocket at your feet once you get to the top. Once you do that, strafe towards whichever battlement you're trying to get to. This is a super useful jump if a sniper notices you on the tower and is charging up a shot, because a lot of them expect you to come out from lower and do the wall jump one that I just showed you. So it's a great mix-up. You know, when it comes to mid-spawn, come to think of it, most of the jumps going there are the exact same ones as the ones that go to the battlements, just with slightly different strafing. You know, you've got the single jump from the high tower, you got the single jump from underneath the battlements, you got the reverse version of the one where you jump up the stairs, you just jump down them this time. You got the pogo from your battlements, the wall jump from the center walkway, the wall jump from the lower high tower.
Yep.
And the pogo from the lower high tower. So, yeah, these are basically the same. Even so, I'd recommend you get them down as well because the strafing is a little bit different. All right, lower spawn. The lower spawn exit is indoors, so there aren't nearly as many ways to approach here. Even so, there are a couple of ones that I would recommend practicing. This jump is pretty easy to get down, but it's probably the least practical jump on this list. It's really only useful if you're chasing someone back into their spawn, or you have an incredibly hard read on someone coming out of their spawn that's probably just dumb luck. Still though, landing one of these feels great. Just put a rocket at your feet and then strafe to the right or to the left, depending on which side you are, and yeah, that's it. This next one is really fun to use when someone's chasing you. It's like the Trolldier equivalent of a corner stab. In fact,
yeah, that's cool, man. That's really cool.
Any staircase that has a 90-degree angle, like the one near where the carts spawn. If you're trying to get the basic motion down, though, I would try it on this staircase back here, since the ceiling is a bit higher. The only tricky thing about this one is getting down the timing of the delayed rocket, so if you could do numbers 9 and 13 without a problem, then you won't have a problem with this one.
All right, let's do this. I think this is gonna be the third last part. Yeah, I was gonna say, it looks like we're close to the end here.
A couple more jumps for some specific situations that come up pretty frequently when you're playing high tower.
Okay.
Firstly, there's the jump that I like to do when there's a pyro hiding around the cliff wall. Pyros love hiding behind this cliff wall, and they always get super focused on people coming around the corner so that they can just spam air blast over and over and over.
I see.
Because of that, they very rarely look up. So I would strongly recommend that you become consistent with jumping over this wall from either side.
Okay, that makes sense.
And lastly, I'm going to go over one of the most common and dangerous situations I get into as Trolldier, which is the one where I'm stuck inside the high tower and the health pack at the campground is still respawning. If this is the case, there are a couple of escape routes that you can take, but the one with the most options is this jump. It's mostly horizontal and you can pogo off the rocks and then strafe left or right to get to whichever lower health pack you want. Alternatively, you can strafe towards one of the entrances to the lower shed and get the large health pack. It's really up to you.
Okay, conclusion. Here we go. That was really good, man.
These jumps are boring. They're easy. They're easy jumps, Soundsmith, whatever, right? They might not be the most flashy things in the world, but these jumps are without a doubt the most practical ones that I was
gonna say, I don't really care how boring it is, man, because like I said, I'm not good with this yet at all. And this was like a really good way to just break it down. I feel like I might be able to do a little bit better next time I try. Haven't watched this series so far.
If you can get these to the point where you can do them consistently, I guarantee you'll get more market gardens than you can count.
Nice.
Actually, you know what? I guess you could count them because stranges are a thing.
Okay. I think that's the end. Okay, yeah. Okay, that's the end. That was great, man. If you enjoyed this video, do not forget to hit that like button. As always, it really helps out the channel here. Not only to let new people see the channel, but it also lets you know if you guys want to see me react to, that kind of video. So thank you so much for being here. If there is anything else you want to see me react to, you're more than welcome to put it in the comments down below, and I'll be sure to put it on the list to make. So that's all I got for you. I will see you in the next video, and do not forget, man, it's Work Army for life.